Area 4D. But all men need to understand.
You gotta go grind.
Women do what you allow them to do. And vice versa with the women. A man gonna do what you allow him to do. And if you don't know your worth, you'll put up with that bullshit. But when you know your worth and you know you don't have to put up with it, you ain't gonna put up with it.
The girl was like, well, if I decide I want to wear a string bikini, to the beach and all that, I don't deserve to be harassed. And if you got a problem with that as my man, that's a problem. He was like, look, I'm not, you shouldn't be harassed. You're right. You shouldn't be harassed. However, they got creeps out there. Period. There are creeps out there. And so you have to be mindful. He's like, I'm not worried about my woman per se. She fine and she putting it out. Okay, cool. However, they gonna have somebody that's gonna disrespect that boundary. They gonna have somebody that's gonna do something to handle because they don't have the respect.
Right.
That's who I'm looking out for. That's who I'm afraid of you attracting, right?
Right.
And stuff. And so that's real talk. Like you're going to attract the creeps with that. A woman is tight because she's nervous. It's a muscle. So if I'm nervous and I'm not comfortable, then it's going to be tight. That don't mean necessarily that it's just
preach my thumbnail, cause when you're loose and like that, you want to know we doing? We getting ready to orgasm. It's called bottoming out. We're letting that bottom drop so you can hit what we need you to hit, so we can get what we want. If you notice, every time before the orgasm, it goes loose. Pay attention. Before her orgasm, not your orgasm is tight because she's working for you. Her orgasm is loose every time. She don't squeeze during the orgasm. She squeezes after the orgasm because she's trying to stop. It's a reflex after. And I'm sorry, y'all not moving, shaking. I got my phone in my hand. That's how I teach my classes. That's how it works.
There are some decent women out there that may have kids that are able to hold it down for themselves and still be able to accept a man into their lives in a man role. So
see, the thing is, when you just say you need a woman that's holding it down by herself, this is the problem right here. In today, in the 21st century, a lot of women, they don't want to have no damn discipline. They don't want no man to come in and tell them what to do. They don't want to follow no rules. They want to sit there and say they want a strong man. As soon as that man show up and start trying to lay down structure and foundation, they flee. Oh, you trying to boss me around. You trying to tell me what to do. All this nonsense. You want me to be submissive. I ain't no slave.
No, Rick,
all this goofy shit.
You're narcissistic. That's the new word.
Yeah, that or toxic masculinity. All these other shaming tactics they got trying to do. Hate women.
But this is how the guys feel about dating women with children. They're saying, don't do it.
If you decide to date women who have kids, this video's for you. When you date a woman who got kids, you got to understand that you are not her main priority, that her kids will always come first. You and this woman have to be on the same page at all times in order for this to be successful. Last thing you need to understand is not only are you bringing this woman in your life, but you bringing some other man's children in your life as well. Now, I know a lot of women will say, well, my kids don't need another father. They got a dad already. But the truth is, if you decide to have something serious with this woman, her and her kids are now under your leadership and guidance. Whenever they're in your presence, you are now responsible for their well-being. I'm not gonna lie, it takes a special type of man to be able to date a woman who got kids. So before you decide to take things to the next level, ask yourself, are you prepared for everything that comes with this?
Like you said, special type of man. But back in the day, it wasn't that much. It wasn't no. I think the difference from back in the day and today, because like I say, Melvin TV had a good step parent. I had good step parents. I think it wasn't. I don't remember seeing any baby daddy drama. Did you see any of that? Melvin.
No, man, because the man and the woman were on the same page. Even if that wasn't the kid's biological father, they were on the same page. Like, hey, this man has actually been here. This man actually stepped up. This man was actually doing stuff for kids that's not his. Women understood that and they respected it. Not only did they respected it, their parents, their relatives respected that. They respected that man who actually chose to step up and be a stepfather. That's how it was back then in the 60s, 70s, and I'll even throw in the 80s. Then I would say around like the mid to late 90s, things started changing. But nobody
Yeah, I
respecting the
said that.
stepdad no more. Oh, you ain't my real dad. You can't tell me what to do. Know what I'm saying? I'll go upside your head, nickel. Know what
But
I'm
I
saying?
think,
Shit, this D block, cuz. Oh, now you're a gangster. This stupid shit.
well, first, let's take a pause. I want to say hello to Chanel, the no bullshit therapist. She decided to join us. She was in the chat earlier, and I guess we was getting so out of hand. She decided she'll step in and do some regulation. Hold on, y'all.
It
Let me
was a
call y'all
long
back.
day. It was
Let
just a
me get
long
on here.
day of training, and then I had to go pick up the kids, go to the grocery store. So it's just a late night. That's all. That's all. But that's not out of the ordinary that I get on here in the chat and be like, let me get in here because they talking crazy.
I know it. I say she gonna come in and get on us in a
Yeah.
minute.
I think you like to provoke me into the room sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna lean a little bit sideways. But so yeah, they. I was just telling them we were just going over the guys saying stay away from women that have
Mhm.
children because there's a lot of things that come with it. And I was saying, Melvin TV was summing up when you came on back in the day. It wasn't, it wasn't no issue. That man was able to poke his chest out. He was well respected, and they was like, you'll hear them old women. I know you used to hear your mama and probably your grandmama and your aunts,
Yeah.
Chanel, saying, "Man, that's a good man there. He raised his kids, and he seen that woman. She had three kids, and they weren't doing nothing. He took them on and raised,
Mhm.
put her through school, and he raised them kids like she was his own. And it was a big thing, and he was praised in the neighborhood.
Right.
Today, they're
Mhm.
looking at him like they simps. And why are you taking care of somebody else's kid? They not yours. And it just it's viewed totally different from
What do
this
y'all think?
cancel generation than it did when we were
What,
coming up.
like, what do y'all think is the reasoning behind that?
The mothers,
Well,
So you think mom just changed all of a sudden? Something happened.
the mothers. I
well,
mean, they're not. Respect is gone.
yeah, I think
Mhm.
Yeah, the respect is gone
what
for
they
the
allow
respect
these
for
days
see
have changed.
feminists. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what they
That's
allow
it. The
these
respect
days have
factor is
changed.
gone. Is zero. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Just like
So
you
I
said, men can stick their chest out and hold their head up high to take care of somebody else's kids that weren't theirs. You can't do that today. But like I said earlier, you do all these stuff for this person who has children already, and you put in 4, 5, 6, sometimes 10 years. As soon as you guys break up, it all ends. Now you can't see the kids, and you've been in these kids' lives since they were 2, 3 years old. Now all of a sudden, all your efforts go away, and her friends like, where's such and such? Oh, I don't know. Shit, I got me a new man now. She's just a monkey branch on to another guy. Like it's
Mhm.
nothing. Like all the time you sit there and invest it means absolutely nothing today. That's why a
Mhm.
lot of
well,
men are choosing not to do it. Like, why am I
Yeah.
doing this for? This is silly.
I mean, again, I look at that a little differently because I just again do not feel that you have to remain a constant in those children's lives to have a lasting effect. And
Mhm.
later on, if they choose to reach out to you, hey, you know, you were a great stepdad, and I appreciate everything
Mhm.
that you showed me and taught me, and it helped me to grow into the person that I am now. Um, my stepson actually stated that to me a few years back
Mhm.
that he understood what I was trying to teach him at the time, and he appreciated what I did while I was in his life,
Right.
you know. But and I had a biological son by his mother, right?
Mhm.
So you can actually still make an impression on a lasting impression on their lives without actually having to still be connected to those children or the mother.
But I think Melvin was more speaking from he actually not only an impression, but he actually
Relationship.
had a personal connection with these children as if they were his own because he had been in that relationship for 5 years. Especially, I'm sure he was kind of more closer to the 2-year-old because he actually saw that one lose
Right.
teeth, learn how to ride a bike, probably taught him how to ride a bike, so
I
he had
did.
a personal connection.
Well,
See, it was more of a personal connection with.
well, in most cases,
Right, that's a pain point for Mr. Melvin, right? And all that. Because and every time I hear you tell the story again, I can hear the pain that's still there and anger that's still there because of that
I wouldn't call
disconnected.
it pain. It just pissed me off to
Oh,
the
it's
point
pain.
like, hold up, man. I did all this stuff and I can't see these guys. This is crazy.
That's pain, baby. That's pain. You
yep,
lost something. That's grief and loss.
call it what it
Equal
is.
pain.
Gotcha.
You know? And that's just your, and I'm not saying you're wrong. Like that's your right to
No.
have that.
You good.
feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like absolutely. Like if I had poured into anything and anybody, right? And then I can't not no more, like you was vested and all. But I think because of that pain point, you have developed a worldview based in that pain, right? And so now you feel like, oh, well, don't do it, dog. Don't do it, and all that. And every woman
Well,
is different.
actually,
They have their share of issues.
mhm. Well, actually, my ex in Vegas, I was with her 4 years, and when I was with her daughter was 1, and I
Mhm.
left her. She was almost 7. So trust me, I tried to do the stepdad thing again when I could have easily been off the first experience. Like, you know what, I ain't doing this goofy shit no more. But then I tried it again. Same results.
You didn't get to see your stepdaughter after that
Same
either?
results.
Well,
What's
You know,
that?
you didn't see the stepdaughter either.
No. I mean, she called me dad and everything, but like I said, once the relationship ended, that was pretty much it. She didn't allow me to talk to her or nothing. It ain't like I was beating her up or going upside her head. We just weren't
Mhm.
a good couple. That's all it was. We were good
Right.
friends, but we're a
Okay.
horrible couple.
Yeah.
Horrible
Right.
couple.
and I
We tried
think
to make
that
it work for 4 years. You trying to put a nail where you're supposed to be putting a screw at. It's not going to fit.
Not gonna fit.
No matter how hard you keep trying to make it fit, it's not going to fit ever.
Right. That
and I
makes sense.
Good friends, horrible couple.
and I think that anytime that well, if you are a good person and
Mhm.
mean well, you develop some type of emotional connection to the
Absolutely.
child.
Some
Absolutely.
So
deeper than others, though.
yeah, some deeper than
Mm-hmm.
others. The my stepson, I think he was 4 when I met his mother,
Mhm.
and I remained in his life until he was about 15 or 16, somewhere along up in there.
Oh,
So
okay.
you develop those feelings and emotions for the kids even after we separated. I did He did come with me and my son for periods of time when we
Mhm.
went to outings.
Right.
But then he eventually went to go stay with his dad
Mhm.
in another state. But um, you develop those things, but you have to be able to allow them to go. You
Mhm.
have to
Well, the
allow
difference
yourself to
was
allow that relationship to go so
he
you won't remain hurt like you are, and accept the role that you played in their life was a vital role, and you've
Yeah.
instilled in them everything that you could, but you have to move on.
the
Right.
difference in what he's saying is it wasn't just a natural split. She just
Mhm.
cut them off cold turkey. See, with your thing, you guys broke up and y'all went through whatever the divorce,
But you
and
still had access to the boy.
you still had
Right.
access because the boys still come around. This woman said it's
Mhm.
over, and hell no, you can't see my children. So don't
Right.
come by, don't pick them up. And he was used to going to soccer practice, baseball, PTA
Football.
meetings, and it just stopped cold turkey. So when you stop anything cold turkey, from trying to eat meat to smoking to
Mhm.
doing drugs, is not a
And
good
yeah,
uh
it hurts.
thing
Yeah.
mentally. Yeah, it's not healthy. And so
Right.
that's the only reason that it's bothering him. Had she
Mhm.
not done that, it's like when we know we can't cross the line.
that was not beneficial for her children, right? After you've developed a relationship and it's a healthy relationship with the father figure and all that, for her to cut them off, like that shows her own selfishness, right?
She wanted to hurt him, but probably ended up hurting the boy because, as he stated in his story, one of the guys say when he finally seen him, he's like, "Man, where you been? I be asking mama all the time where you are and what happened," and she'll brush the question off. She never answered me. So
she don't want accountability.
Yeah, that was a disconnect. It's kind of like you on the internet and all of a sudden your Wi-Fi go off. It's incomplete. You're like, damn, how am I, you in the middle of a resume, in the middle of a test, and your Wi-Fi just so
I do
that
believe
was the difference.
I do believe that whenever you're about to exit a relationship, unless it's one where there is abuse, that there should be a sit down discussion with the children.
She didn't do that.
Yeah, I understand that.
I didn't do that at all, dude. It was so spur of the moment, bro. I came home from work one day. Like I said, I was a bartender at 2 nightclubs, and I had my main job working with Starbucks corporate office downtown. And I just came home from work one morning, dude. It was like she sat me down, need to talk to me. I don't think this working, blah blah blah. And I was like, well, what the hell? I'm just sitting there like, what's going on?
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out what's up.
Her work boyfriend was.
I thought everything was good, but then after like a few days that passed by, and I asked her this, I said, "Well, if we have ran our course, I'm cool with that. But can I still at least see the boys?" And she said this to me. I remember these words vividly. She said, "They're not your kids. Why do you care?"
Wow.
See, it's not what they did.
Just like that.
It's how they did.
She was jabbing you. She was jabbing
like It took everything in my spirit not to grab her and choke the shit out of her, and I wanted to real bad. That devil was on my shoulder like, get her, get her, get her. I was like, nah, let's not get her, because I'm not trying to go to McNeil Island. Or Shelton or Walla Walla. No, thank you. But that's what she said to me. Why do you care? They're not your kids anyway.
Wow.
And this is after 5 years of investment.
Right.
My daughter used to come over. They used to play together, everything. We used to go to places like Chuck E. Cheese and Fantasia. Fantasia is like a bigger Chuck E. Cheese with more stuff and go-karts and stuff. We did that every weekend. If her kid make a good grade on his spelling test, we go to Toys R Us and buy him a toy. We did all kind of family shit together.
Yeah. So
to this day, I still don't know what I did.
You didn't. It was a work boy. It was a work boyfriend.
She did.
Could be. She had a little dude at work because she worked downtown Seattle. So who knows? Could be a little guy she was crazy about in her office or whatever. And she got over there and saw it wasn't going to be what it was going to be.
Yeah. So when you get into these relationships, you have to know what you're getting into. You have to know that there's a possibility that the relationship may not last.
Right.
And what you put into that relationship, you just put in. And that was your experience put into that relationship, and you gained whatever experience that you gained from that relationship. And then when it ends, it ends, no matter how it ends. And you have to be okay with knowing that you may never know the reasoning. You may never get the appreciation from that parent or even the children. But you can walk away with the satisfaction that you did everything that you could while you were in that life experience and be okay.
I hear you. That sounds good on paper, but that don't help.
Right.
I mean, but you
sounds good. I feel you. I feel what you're saying.
Because
you have to draw into that belief though.
On the cool though, on the cool, Austin,
actually seeing that and feeling that.
On the cool,
you have to look at it like this too.
Go ahead.
You have to look at it like this too, man. You talking about a guy who comes from a small city called Monroe, Louisiana. You way up in Seattle, Washington. You come from a family to where men were stepfathers. So you are accustomed to seeing that. And not only that, you don't have a problem doing it. You don't go into that thing thinking it's gonna end one day. Hell, why doom your relationship before it even started? If that's the case, why date anybody at all? If you already had the mindset that it's gonna end one day.
Yeah, but that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, but you have to
let me
have a
break.
realistic expectation of things that is a possibility.
Not as a 26, 27-year-old man. I don't know this. Like I said, I gave you the background. I gave you the context of what my mindset was.
Right, I understand.
You know,
that.
everything was great.
Yeah, I understand.
This is where because what what Melvin TV is saying, being that he came from a family that were stepfathers, and he had a fairly decent stepfather because he has his stepfather's last name. Mm-hmm. He has no problem stepping in and being a stepfather.
He had no problem.
He cared for the woman, loved the woman, and in a perfect world, everything's going to be perfect. So he don't walk around on eggshells thinking every day he wake up that I could be out of this relationship. You know what I'm saying? He don't do that. Now you and I have been conditioned to know that all good things come to an end and nothing lasts forever. But a lot of people don't have that mentality. They see what they like, they see a good family, they get complacent, they get comfortable, and that's just to them it's gonna last forever. They ignore the red signs. They don't see.
We don't enter relationships. You don't enter relationships for them to end. We really don't. You know what I'm saying? You get into something, you're hoping that this is your life partner. You're hoping that this lasts forever. You know, like that's what you're hoping for. I mean, the reality is it might not. This could be a lesson in your life, but you don't know that. But you don't walk into it going, this probably a lesson. So I ain't gonna put all in like you.
Every day you wake up, damn, I might be out of this relationship today.
No, and that's not
the
mentality that I'm promoting.
No, you don't think
what I'm
am I gonna lose it today?
Yeah, what I'm stating is you don't walk around like that, but you go into any situation knowing that there is a possible end.
Possibility. Right.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, no. I'm not knocking what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. I'm just telling you how he sees that, and how Chanel just said you don't just look for it to end, but we have been conditioned. So a lot of times when I hear the story of them wanting it to last forever and the fairy tale thing, a lot of times I keep a lot of my thoughts to myself, you know, because I was conditioned that at any given time they can just wake up and you can be done everything. And at any given time, they can be like, see ya. Well, I meant this ain't working. And you looking like, damn, I bought the house, I got you the car you want, I bought the clothes you want, I put your daughter in this, I put your son in that. I've done everything. I'm working my fingers to the bone. And y'all got everything. You're living life of luxury, but you still unhappy. And all of a sudden you don't want to be in this relationship. And shit happens. So when you learn that, and then I learned that from watching majority of the people in my family, sisters, aunts, I have more women in my family than men. I got 2 brothers, the rest of them women. And I watched them. I'm nosy. I looked. As from 8 years old on up, I watched everything they did. I listened to everything they said, and it's hard to please a woman. I'm saying to make her 100% happy. And like I said on here several times, a lot of women have a temporary happiness. They want this like I said, they want this Lexus. You know what I'm saying? They want this bad car. You get them that car. They happy for 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. They not eating in it. They don't let nobody do nothing in that car. But that third month, and then a friend of theirs, a co-worker, a sister, a cousin, get a car that everybody else is saying, oh yeah, that's the newest such and such, that car, that. Now all of a sudden that Lexus is a car. Now you see you go and you see a Wendy's bag in there. You see fries in the middle of the seat because it's a temporary for some reason, especially nowadays. A lot of times it becomes a temporary happiness.
the thing is, I mean, they may not have been happy in the beginning, and they're
That's what I was
feeling
gonna say.
they're feeling their emptiness or
Right.
their
Good thing.
non-happiness with material things or
Right.
with images of what they
Right.
feel makes them
Mm-hmm.
happy.
Right.
So yes, it
So it's
is
not
Mhm.
yeah.
temporary. So it
Yeah, it's
has
very
nothing to
simple.
do with you or anyone
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
That
They're not
person,
happy with themselves.
that
yeah,
person's
yeah.
not
Exactly.
feeling whole or
Right.
happy
Mhm.
with themselves because you can't make a person happy.
No,
No,
you
you
can't.
cannot make a person
Nobody can.
happy. They
That's a
have to
choice
be
for them.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
they have to
know.
And
make
that's
So
themselves
that's
happy.
the argument
Nobody
that
make you.
me and
Nobody make you happy.
yeah, you can't depend on nobody. And that's
Mm-mm.
men included to
Your
make no
job.
woman. Woman can't make you happy.
It's nobody's job to make anybody else happy, right? You can contribute to their happiness, right?
exactly.
But that has to come from within, and that takes inner work. And so, if you haven't worked on the things that you need to work on to learn to love yourself and learn to be happy and make the choice of happiness, and I think maybe, Mr. Melvin, that's who you were choosing inadvertently, not intentionally, right? But for some reason, you were choosing these women who, you know, were not happy with themselves, right? Because it sounded like, especially the second one, sounded like just some fuck shit, right? She
Yeah,
decided, "Ooh, I'm done." I mean, she was out there doing invested like you were.
Right.
I come to the realization that the type of spirit I have, and I didn't want to accept it, but I have accepted it now. I
Mhm.
attract people who are hurt or injured mentally
Right,
or spiritually
right,
because I'm supposed
right,
to help them and guide them.
right,
That's my job,
right,
whether I
right.
like it or
Wow.
not.
Yeah, I feel
That's
that,
why I'm here.
but we have to
Yep.
understand what I'm learning about that sort of spirit is you have to
Mhm.
protect it, right? And this
Yes.
could have very well been a situation where you were temporary. You were there to help her through a particular thing or a particular phase or whatever it was. And either she was going to accept
Hmm.
it or not accept it. And if she chose not to, then you out. You've done what you're supposed to do,
And you know
right?
what, Chanel?
Right.
Now that you guys hitting it on the head, I used to go through that all the time.
Mhm.
And that's probably why I'm conditioned where I understand nothing lasts forever and all good things come to an end. Every woman
Hmm.
I used to meet would be going through some type of crisis.
Mhm.
And whether we be together 3 months,
Nice.
whether we make it a year, whether we make it 2 years, it's like when they get over
Yep.
that hump and get back on their feet, we just drift apart. And it wasn't a
They gone.
hatred thing.
No.
We just for some
Yeah.
reason we drift apart. And I'm talking about from the age of probably 21
Mhm.
on up until maybe I guess I met my current.
Mhm.
Uh, every woman they were all seasonal. It was always something they were going. Whether I helped them get, they parents and them didn't get along. I step in and get that
Right.
right. They lose a job and they down and they've been on they've been down for a couple of years. I come in there, let's straighten this up, get them a job, blah blah blah, and everything going good. We drift. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean, it was just all of that.
Yep.
And then I
Right.
start thinking every woman that I meet going through something, I get them out of whatever they going through, and we just drift. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You
I
know,
lose interest, we just
About the business.
drift.
But
But it
job
don't
done.
be like I
You're
said, we
done.
don't be,
Yeah.
I can't stand him and all that. It's still a hey, how you doing? And why did we stop talking?
Right.
It
Yeah.
just was a
sometimes
drift.
Same
You
Job
know
here.
what
is
I'm
done.
saying?
sometimes we're the
Same here.
helper and sometimes we're the helped.
Come
So
on now.
So, what you experienced during those times may have helped you in your current relationship
Thank
because
you.
you are a lot better now
Yeah. All right.
with this
Perfectly.
person than you were
Mhm.
with those other people. This person may be your person, and
Person,
you were
right. But you
being
have to go through
prepared.
to get right. Yeah.
Right, you were being prepared to
Mm-hmm.
love her the way that she's supposed to be loved, and all of those things that you experience help you to get to that point.
Right.
Absolutely. I definitely believe that. I definitely believe that. You know,
Yeah.
and
I
to
mean, and like you said earlier, I don't look at relationships as a waste of time. I
no,
always
no,
get what's out of it. I mean, and a lot of times, we really know whether they're seasonal or not. A lot of times we force ourselves to make temporary people permanent. And I know I've done that. Because like I say, you just get comfortable and you like, you know, you get all the signs. You
always know, you can feel it in your spirit when
feel it. But you block it out because you like, well, maybe I'm just feeling it. I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm content. So you have to learn to stop being content and learn how to work on your happiness.
Right.
And that was my gift.
It's hard for everybody to let go. You know, it's difficult. And I talk about that like with my ex-husband. Like I knew way before I left that I should have left, right? You know, but between conditioning and not wanting to be alone and not wanting to be uncomfortable and, you know, all of these things, like I just stayed in it, you know, even miserable. Okay, at least I know what to expect. This is chaos, but I understand this chaos, right? You know, and I was more comfortable there than the possibility of leaving. And then what we're going to do with the kids. And then, oh, we got these adopted kids too. And so is everybody coming with me? I ain't trying to be a single parent of, 7 kids, like there was dynamics that had me sitting in a situation that was done. Right. And I can't go back even now and pinpoint at what point, because I think for me and him, there was some destiny in that. Right. But he chose not to, right? He chose not to grow, right? Because people's decisions that they make affect what could be, right?
Right.
And I can't impose my will upon you. All I can do is help myself, right? And then if it's not working, then it's not working, But often we just stay in the stuff so long because, and I know some people know it's like, I just don't want to be lonely, Right. But you're in a relationship that's still lonely. You're still lonely, right? But it is just hard to let go, even when it's chaotic, even when it's hurtful.
So you had you guys decided to adopt together, or did you already have the adopted kids beforehand?
We adopted them to get together.
Okay, and you have 2 biological, right?
Right.
And they're by him.
Uh-huh.
So he didn't have to play a stepfather role.
Nah.
Okay. That last week we had a discussion where I was trying to explain to the co-host the difference in he didn't understand my situation. Okay. Growing up, at 1 year old, the biological mom passed.
Right.
You move in, she takes you on. She already have a daughter that's probably 3 or 4 years old. She's a single parent. Mm-hmm. And she met a man, 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years later, he moved in. He got with her and took on her daughter and me, because at that time, like I said, 1 year old, when I learned how to say mama, I was saying it to her. So, right. And he was thinking that the situation was they were already married. Something happened, and I just moved in, and they continued to raise. And so he was saying, since you didn't come out the womb, your situation is not the same. But then I thought about you. Mm-hmm. If you have foster kids, if you have adopted kids, if you have what is it? You got foster. What's the other thing?
Any kids in that situation?
Any kids that you're a single parent of raising, and a man meets you while you have those kids, he's gonna fall into the step parenting role.
Yeah, it's a role.
So he didn't understand that, and I wanted to. You wasn't on here, and as I say so many times, I thirst for knowledge, and I look for reasons for me to be wrong, because I like understanding and changing my messed up ways of thinking since 19, when those 50 and 60-year-old men put in my head, hey, your woman can go to Walmart and be in the fruit section and raise a skirt up, and a man can get some right then. So I'm walking around at 21 paranoid and wondering, hey, was you at the fruit aisle at Walmart? They messed my head up. I'm finna go to Walmart. We gotta go get some fruit. I could be in the bed asleep. I put my clothes on, I put my shoes on. Middle of the night, I'm riding with you. You know what I'm saying? Shirt halfway on, one shoe off. but you know, but those men got in my head at 19 and 20 years old. So by the time I was 21, 22, I'm paranoid. I don't trust nothing, you know. But listen to this combo and you know, let see what was going on. And he didn't let me finish, but I just laid it out to you. But I just want to know, you know, was I wrong? And I wanted to get a fair, you know, I wanted to get your opinion because all of us was like devastated that he even went that far. But he didn't understand. But here we go.
I met this girl and she raising her little brother. That's her blood. I'm married to her, but she's taking on her little brother. That's her blood. That's something different. If a woman is engaged with a child and it's a part of her family, that's something different. Though that's not my child, we know that that's her little brother because she's raising her little brother. That's a part of her family.
Right.
So I know that I don't have no biological investment in it, but I know she's raising her little brother. So I'm going to support her in raising her little brother. But when you got a woman that got children by another man, that's something totally different because they was by birth. But it's a different situation because you're being, due to the circumstances, I'm raising my little brother.
Okay.
Now I got what he's saying now. I understand what he's saying.
They get what you're saying now.
Listen what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong if I'm dealing with a woman and something happened to her brother's mother. Her brother's mother. And she got to stay. The brother got to stay with her, and we raising her. That's something. That's totally different.
That wasn't my situation, though. That wasn't my situation.
That was different.
That wasn't my situation.
That was different.
Can I speak? My situation was different.
Okay, what's your situation?
My biological past when I was under a year. The sister I moved in, the sister that took me on, that she requested to take care of me, didn't have a man. She had me and she had a daughter on her own.
Right.
He met her when I was 5 years old.
Right.
So when he walked into her life, I was already in her life as her son that she's raising.
Right.
So it ain't like they had been together and then something happened and I moved in. No. When he walked into my life, she didn't have a man.
Right.
So when he walked in her life, he had to take on 2 kids that was not his, and he didn't know her from a can of paint. All he knew was she looked good, and he wanted to be with her.
Right.
So when he took her on, he took us on too.
Right.
And he raised us as his own. Up until this day, we're on the wheel. We're in everything. We're listed as his children. So when even when we're out in public and somebody asks him, how many children do you have? Even though he only had one by her, that he had 5 years later, he still includes my sister and myself as his children. At the funeral, our names are going to be on that program as his children, not stepchildren, not nothing. And if anything happens to him today, I'm catching a flight, I'm in Louisiana.
Right.
So it's a difference if we were living together, that she already had him.
That's not the reality. The way your situation is, you can't speak your situation to everybody else's situation.
Right. No. But you see what I'm saying? He didn't understand the situation.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think people get caught up like in the biological and all that stuff, right? You know, and all that. I treat my adopted children as if they came from my womb, right? Because I love them to that extent, right? And so it's relationship. It's relationship and the role that you're playing in that child's life or whatever. Biological to you, little brother, you know, whatever the case may be, right? If you're in a parenting role, if you got that much distance between a sister and brother or whatever, and she takes him into her home, okay, yeah, I'm raising my little brother, but you're in a mothering role. You're not playing sister. You are playing mother to him, right? And so it's a role. Right. And that role comes with certain responsibilities and all that. And so I saw where he was trying to go with it. I didn't quite put it together, though. you know. Dawson, you said that you understood it. What did you get out of what he was saying?
I understood what he was attempting to identify. So he was trying to say that because Black was the brother to his sister,
Mhm.
that he he didn't have any um
Like steak
fears.
and
Yeah, he didn't have any stake or any fears that came along with being a step parent,
mhm.
because he knew that was not her biological child.
Okay, child. Okay,
But
Yeah,
but it,
he wasn't understanding that Doug came in still in a parental role,
whoa, right.
no matter what
What
he
the kinship
was,
is.
yeah, what the kinship was.
Right, right.
yeah, because he came in after she already had me for 5 years.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah,
if you go and adopt two children today and you meet somebody brand new, if they decide to deal with you and y'all move
right.
in together, he's going to
Yeah,
have to be a fatherly role to the two children that you have, whether they came out your womb, whether you
right,
went in and adopted them from an agency, whether you
right.
took them on as a foster child or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, baby,
That
right.
you still the person, the single parent that's responsible for those children. And any man you meet, if you, especially if you have infant children and
Yeah,
toddlers, he's gonna
mm-hmm.
have to contribute
Yeah,
some type of way, whether they're fathers in their lives or not. If you
yeah,
at work and they get sick, he got to drive them to the doctor. If the biological working, if the biological out of town, if the biological deceased, either
right.
way it goes, if you're not there, he has to play that parent and that fatherly role. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And so that's what he didn't understand, and that's what got so heated and
mhm.
and everything. But I was
Yeah,
like, you just didn't understand the situation.
mhm.
He when the part that he thought he understood was he thought that they were already together. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? They were together for 15 years. The mother died, and then I move in. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you and your boo together, and your aunt died, and her child move in with you.
Right.
You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So now you and him decide, well, my aunt's gone and she don't have nowhere else to go. We're the best people. I got room here at the house. She can have her own room. And then you talk it over him, then he move in, then your cousin be like, hey, cousin Nell, and you're like, hey, boom, boom, boom. And then y'all start the life. But
Yeah.
if you already have her before you meet Boo,
Right.
Boo has to step in as a fatherly role, and if he's gonna be a good father, he's gonna have to love those children
In,
as if they were,
in
as
my
his own.
opinion, situation, it's still a role played. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think that person still should, fulfill those things, right? You
right,
know, um, again, it's a role.
right,
If I had had boys and didn't have a man, and I would expect that as a single mom, that my brother would step in and play a role of a male figure in my child's life, right? And those things, though he's their uncle, right? If they don't have a daddy in their lives or whatever, then I would expect that as the male and as my brother, he would step in and be like, let's go do some dude stuff. Let's go hang
right,
out. Let me take my niece out and like to fill in that space, right?
right.
I think people get caught up too much in the kinship and the all the dynamics or whatever and all that kind of stuff.
Instead of
Like,
just looking at the role,
if you want to play in this child's life that's going to be beneficial to the right? Try to fill in a missing piece, right?
and then they, like I said, they have forms where they dissing the step parents, the step women, the step mothers, and the step men. And I think it comes from a hurt place that them people been in. And
Absolutely.
they're even saying that, and like today, with the respect being gone, there's several women saying they don't want to date uh, men that have children. It's
Yeah,
a slew of that's going, which I could we all see that, but as you get older,
yeah, Yeah,
somebody gonna have a child. Somebody gonna have a child. That woman gonna have, I think it's what, 12%, 12 or 15% is gonna have, women gonna have a child by the time they're 15 or 18. By the time they're 18, then it jumps up to like 40% between 20 and 30. And then between 30 and 40, it jumps up to like 60-something%. So
like,
every
I got caught up too with my ex-husband because I was about 25, he was about 30, and he said he ain't had no kids. And I was like, oh, that's attractive. You know, and you got a nice smile and you talk a lot. I like it. You know, well, this is a unicorn. I can't find no man that old with no kids. Like,
right.
You know. So,
yeah. and so now you got women who saying they don't want to date. But like I say, the older you get, and men saying they don't want to be stepfathers, but the older you get and you single, it ain't too many you gonna choose from that don't have children. But this is how the woman was breaking it down, that it's rules you have to have established to date men with children. You just can't just get in that relationship. You got to develop some type of stable ground once you're in that relationship, because of how the world is today. Social media, baby mama drama, you know, women ain't got time for none of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what she was breaking down. Check it out.
Coming Reese, the sad thing is I'm 40 with no kids, and the men in my age bracket have kids and grandkids. I have to settle with someone who has kids or stay single. And unfortunately, for you, that is honestly the reality of it, because in that age bracket, you are 9 times out of 10 going to come across somebody that has kids. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as he has his situation under control. As long as he's not still sleeping with the baby mama. As long as he's not telling her one thing and telling you another. As long as he's not arguing, going back and forth with her all the time. As long as she's not in her feelings, she's not jealous, she don't still want him. As long as she ain't using the child to make him upset. All of these are definitely red flags that you have to look out for when you are dating men with kids.
Absolutely.
It's like the world is just different. You know, it's just so many extras that I don't think when we were growing up, we didn't see none of this. There's a lot of the stuff that's out now is brand new. Yeah. You know, I mean,
I think one factor there is like immature people and hurting people are having kids, right? Again, we always talk about how social media is influencing all the things and all that stuff or whatever. So there's like we live in a different world in a different time. So, you know,
yeah, that's it.
Back then,
and I say so many times, you hear me all the time, social media is really the root of a lot of things we're seeing today that's going on.
Yeah. I mean, it has its benefits, but
it's been a gift and a curse.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
we have more confused and weak-minded people, I say, in the world today than I ever seen.
Because everybody looking for validation.
They looking for what?
Looking for validation.
A lot of people want people to think for them. They don't want to think on their own.
Oh, Jesus, yes, I can believe that. Yeah.
People have a lot of image issues. Self-image issues.
Absolutely. You know, and if you
everybody want attention.
Telling you whether you look good or don't look good, or everybody's and yeah, you know.
And you got, like I say, it's a slew of people that actually have groups where they sit there and talk down on the blended family. They like, there's no benefit in it. Those children not yours. And you know, and they just didn't think like that. Oh gosh, you just said when you said those children not yours, right? They didn't, because everybody's children was yours. It was a village, right? You know, your neighbor could whoop your ass. You know, like when my mama left for work, Mr. and Mrs. Brown watched our ass and made sure we weren't breaking no rules and let nobody in her house. You know what I'm saying? And we respected that, right? And so, yeah, if there's no village, right,
then when Pookie Man move in and all that stuff, well, no, you can't touch my kids because I'm treating you like a stranger, right? Because I don't know you like that or whatever. Well, there should have been some dating courtship stuff so you get to know him before you bring him to meet your kids, right?
Right.
Like that. There's
You said that earlier.
There's a lot of disconnect there, just between us as humans, right? I don't care about them because they don't belong to me. They ain't mine, right? I can't pass a kid in the grocery store that's standing up in the cart. And my kids are always like, Mama, don't tell them nothing. I was like, you're going to bust your head if you don't sit down in that cart. Because I care about that child falling out that basket, whether he's
mama
mine.
don't want you saying nothing to that
Right.
child.
Right.
Did you know us? Did you know him?
Right.
Now
That
that
could start
now
an
that the
argument
world,
now.
yeah, now
You
that
don't
the world has
tell
become
my child
smaller,
what to do. The hell?
yeah,
Right.
now that the world has become smaller with social media, more television, more access to different programs, you see the evilness in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, and so you become
Mm-hmm.
you start to mistrust a lot of things and people and
That's
become more
true.
skeptical because
Yeah,
you do hear about men and women abusing children,
absolutely.
both physically and sexually.
Right.
So you become more aware of that. So now you develop this defense where no, you can't touch my child because I don't know what your intentions are. But
Right.
you should have established a sense of trust with that person
Right.
prior to allowing them into your life.
Right.
Right.
And we don't take the time to vet a person
Thank you.
before allowing them into our lives.
Right. Plus, it's hard to vet a person if you don't know yourself.
This is
And you're
true.
trying to fill your empty holes. And
Facts.
so you're going to choose wrong,
Exactly.
right? And you might bring
Mm-hmm.
somebody into your house that ain't shit, right? Um, but that's on you because you're not healing yourself. You're not getting to know you. You're not getting to know, you're still broken, right? And so you're out here broken. You can't choose why you're broken. You're gonna always choose wrong, you know. And
So
so if those ain't being fixed, like you said, you're gonna bring somebody in there that's not good for your kid. Your job is to get to know who you are dating way before they enter the room with your kid. You should have a sense of trust. And,
Right.
and don't get me wrong, people can fool you. You know what I'm saying? You know,
but
right,
once
Mr.
you see that they fooling you, you got to check that situation head on.
Right.
Now, I posted a question on social media. I asked about are step parents allowed to discipline children like the step parents did back in the day? And there was a whole bunch of mixed feelings. A majority of them was like, yeah, I'm old school, and mine gonna get disciplined. I allow discipline. But then this one guy posted,
For corporal punishment, like hitting, like
no, just I mean, if you have to spank them, yeah, but punishment as in the step parent able to say, you not give me, you're not gonna use your cell phone for 2 weeks, and the mother be okay with it instead of saying why she can't have her phone, and then the child hearing that, and that creates disrespect in the household.
Conflict.
So this is
Right.
what Kentrell said. He said, can y'all see that?
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yep.
he said, nah, if the biological parent is in his kid's life, then no. Anything he say, anything should be, I guess he means should nobody be putting their hands on nobody's child. If the other parent's not active, choosing not to be in that child's life, and the moms allow it, then it's fine. Then he say, but him personally, he's not touching nobody's child. But keep that in mind that that's coming from somebody who don't have a child living with them.
Okay.
Because if I'm
Right. Well, hell, he's speaking from a space. You know what the hell he talking about?
thank you. And so I was saying, I told him I was going to address that on the podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like Austin said, and you second, that mother should know and that father should know the person that they're bringing around their child.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a step parent or somebody taking care of that child, you keeping a roof over their head, putting food in their mouth, clothes on their back,
Absolutely.
losing sleep when they sick.
Come on.
And I feel like if that child is being disrespectful and they need to be
checked.
punished, they
Be
need
checked.
discipline. And like
Need to be
I still whip ass because I'm gonna get the respect. It's the difference in whipping ass and abusing a child. It's a way to whoop. It's a way to put something on that child's ass to get your respect without beating the hell out of them, half killing them. And I feel like that's what's wrong with these teens that's getting killed, with these teens that's going to jail, and their mother is with a man who can't discipline that child. And me personally, I'm not gonna be in no relationship that I have no say so over the way that child is being raised. That's just me because I didn't come from that. I didn't come from it. So I can't be in a relationship where I can't yell at the child. I can't tell that child to sit down. I can't go in that room and take away the computer screens if she like gaming. And then the mama say, well, I bought those screens. Why did you take her screens? Well, because I asked her to wash dishes and she looked at me like I cursed her out, and she's still been laying in her room. It's 5 hours and passed and she still ain't came downstairs to wash no dishes. So I took the computer, I took the screens. Get down there and wash them dishes. Put her screens back in the room. I ain't been in no relationship like that. No. But a lot of parents are like that now, especially if they feel like they bought it. And when they get mad, you not that child's father. You get what I'm saying? And I've seen this and heard this. But when the birthday come up, when graduations come up, when Christmas come up,
or school activities you got to pay for,
you dad.
Yeah.
But when that mom get mad and that child, you going against the child, and that's why that a guy said on the another video I played that mother and child's bond, you will never be able to overstep that woman gonna believe whatever that child, a lot of them gonna believe whatever that child say, but then that depends on the person you choose to let in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know I said on one of go ahead. I know I said on one of my videos that one of my friends, a girl or a lady in Dallas, she was married to this dude. And when they got married, she had a daughter. And I think the daughter was like 3 or 4. Fast forward, the daughter's like now 14 or 15 years old. So he yells at the daughter one day to clean her room or whatever. Keep in mind, they married now. Keep in mind, he's been there for 10 years.
All right.
So he yelled at her. He didn't hit her. He didn't kick her down a flight of stairs. He didn't call her out her name. He just yelled at her. Hey, clean your room. So the mom goes up to his job, acts a fool, slapped the taste out of his damn mouth. I mean, just slap him. He's like, why you up here hitting on me? Because you yelled at my daughter. Notice she said, my daughter.
My daughter.
And this is what he did. He didn't hit her back. He called Dallas police and he had her arrested. Yes. They came up there and arrested her. That's what happened with that case. She got to go back in court 2 or 3 times. He trying to go up there and say I did this and that. He trying to give me months. I say, well, you deserve months. Because that's what you get for mobbing your ass up there, thinking you put hands on somebody, and that's your husband. He's been there 10 plus years, a whole damn decade, and he can't check your daughter. He can get at her ass. Hell, he raised her.
He should have been got out of there.
Well,
he did.
And again,
after that, he filed for divorce. He said, I got to get away from her.
This is what I was talking about earlier, where you have to have a conversation on how you are going to handle the kids, how you're going to discipline the kids. What are the rules? What are the consequences? And so once you establish that, and if you can't agree to, or if you don't agree with the discipline rules or the disciplinary rules, then you should walk away. And a lot of people are afraid again to have that conversation because they are afraid that though that person may end up walking away. But that's what you need to happen.
But why are so many people afraid that somebody will walk away when if you stay there, you walking on eggshells?
Pretty much.
Because they
You
rather
tiptoeing through the tulips.
they rather have eggshells, a person there that's tiptoeing on eggshells and them tiptoeing on eggshells than not have anyone there at all.
You know, and that's that simp.
These are
I
men.
have to
These are
agree
men.
with
Those are usually men who have been so emasculated. They've been so damn emasculated to where they just think it's normal. You know, they never going to stand up on their own damn 2 feet. And I know dudes that's like that today in their late 40s and early 50s. They have never stood up on their own 2 feet. I got boys who have never lived by themselves. They always lived with a woman. Always. Like, dude, you want to live by yourself once? Like, what the hell?
But that's
So
where
those guys,
that
they've been overly emasculated. They're not going to try to check her.
that's
ever.
where that Mario song, that simp song, I'd rather deal with you and all your bullshit. That's that simp mentality that's out here, because if I can't discipline that child that I'm taking care of when she wants the Jordans, when she wants the cheerleader has to be paid, the cheerleader fees. I'm doing all that, but I can't yell or discipline that child.
Right.
It ain't no, I don't want to be alone.
That kid, right? Because I don't believe in physical discipline. I don't, because I don't think it's effective. But what is that teaching that child that, okay, he gets to buy me all the things. I'll see the patterns here. He gets to buy me all the things, but I don't have to respect him, right? We learned that behavior from our childhood, and he buys me the ballerina shoes, and he buys me the stuff, blah, 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 blah. But my mama said he can't tell me nothing, right? And so you get into adulthood, and now you got all the women who want all the things, but I don't want to respect you as a man. Your job is to take care of me.
Ain't being that. I'm out.
Yeah, that's a conflict of interest, man. You sitting there belittling your man in front of the kids.
Yeah.
Now the kid's like, oh shit, I can rock out how I want to now. He can't tell me what to do. Mom got my back.
Shut up.
We make it a vow not to go against the other's authority in front of the child. We may look at each other a certain way, but we don't say nothing when the child leaves and go outside, or the child go upstairs and go in his room, and she'll be like, didn't you hear me tell him he couldn't go outside? Or didn't you hear me say that he wasn't going to such and such? I say, yeah, but he just such. But we have our discussions like that when we disagree with the other one's discipline.
Right.
We don't do that in front of the kids, especially if she's the step parent to that child, and I'm the step parent to the other child. So especially those, you know what I'm saying? It's like, she say what she gonna say, I say what I'm gonna say, and then later on that night, probably before we go to bed, I say, oh yeah, because I'm a firm believer of clearing whatever you messed up in the daytime, clear it up before you go to bed. So you don't want nobody to lay down if you can help it, upset. Yeah. You want to be like, let me clear this up, because if that person laying down all night, tossing and turning, can't sleep, wake up with the same on their mind. That's not healthy for that relationship, because the whole while you're uncomfortable, you're thinking of ways to make it comfortable. And a lot of times to make it comfortable, you put in your head, I need to get out of this, when it was just a situation that y'all were just in that could have just, the conversation could have just worked out. So before we go to bed, I say, well, hey, I didn't like the way you did this. I didn't think it was necessary for you to do that. But I don't say that in front of the child. I choose when I disagree, I don't say nothing. You get what I'm saying? I'm just quiet. But if I agree, I'll second what she say. You get what I'm saying? But when I don't necessarily agree, I just don't say nothing. And I'll be like, I don't want the child coming to me with tears in his eyes. Get away from me. I ain't got nothing to do with it. That's your mama. You should have did what you did. You get what I'm saying? That's what I say then. You should have did what you did, and that's why she did that. But then when we come upstairs and we get by ourselves, I say, okay, now I don't think you should have done it like that. He was just trying to have fun because she the serious one.
Okay.
She's the no bullshit mom. They like me because I clown, I joke, I TikTok, I have fun with them. You know what I'm saying? She's serious.
Yeah.
And so the little boy, he's 8, and he clown. He has my personality. I joke, he clown, he's a clown. Mom serious 24/7. So if he say,
Mama gotta lighten up.
Right. So if he say, she'll say, come in here and get your cup off this table. He'll say, I'm coming, you know. And then she'll say, what you say to me? And she ready to beat him. He was like, I'm just playing. I was like, well, you can't play with her like that.
Yeah, she can't handle.
And he'll say, like, but actually the actual conversation went, she asked him to, she wanted him to go upstairs and get something. And he said, well, you do it. But he was playing. But being that she's the no BS mom, she don't like them playing with her like that because she said that's going to eventually lead to disrespect.
Yeah,
I understand that. I understand where she's coming from. I didn't,
but
I know he's a clown.
I love to clown with them all day long, every day. Me and my youngest are always, talking crazy to each other and all that stuff and laughing and clowning. Like, that makes parenting better. And my favorite thing to say to them was like, don't make me have to do just regular mom shit. I want to be the cool mom. That's all I want to be. Don't make me have to discipline you. Don't make me have to take you. I don't want to do that. I just want to be the cool mom, but I still do. If it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. And me and my ex-husband did not have the same parenting style. We didn't, especially when it came to the baby, because he spoiled her. And I remember, but she was like 3 or so. She was walking around hitting her sisters and calling them bitches. And so the girls would ask us, would tell us, Gray's doing this, doing that, or whatever. And so he would give her a pass every time. I'm from the discipline, if they do it to you, now I don't want them calling them bitches, but if she hits you, hit her ass back, right? Like that's true justice and stuff, but he didn't want them to hit her and all that. And I had to stand there when he's saying that, and because I didn't disagree with him in front of them, I did not at all, and I wound up trying to pull him to the side and talk to him about it. But baby girl got to the point that she was a boxer because she was just wailing on people in front of him at that point. And she walked up to her sister one day. We was all standing there talking, and she ran back and just jabbed her in the stomach. And her sister's 5 years older than her. So she doubles over. Ex-husband is like, what the hell? I said, I told you she ain't here kicking these girls' ass and you giving her a pass. Let them not and tell them don't beat her again. Just enough for her to get that you can't walk around hitting on people. Right. This is where she learns that. Because otherwise she goes to school and you're gonna be up. I'm not going to the school. You going to the school.
That's what my wife say all the time. Because she say I be too light on the kids, but I know when they joking, I know when they clowning, and then she gets them. You know what I'm saying? And people that kind of think they know us, they think I'm the one that gets them, but she really have to make me get them because I joke, I clown, and I play with them. So when they in a joking mood and they play with her the way they play with me, she don't be in the mood for it. She jokes with them every blue moon, and then she like now she like I'm gonna stop disciplining them. You finna start disciplining them, because it's like I'm the good, the fun.
And like the bad guy.
Got her looking like the bad guy, so now she finna make me be the bad guy, But I got no problem with what I do though.
To clown with them, that's freedom that's teaching them freedom of expression, though, appropriate expression. You should be able to clown around with your parents and all that, and know where the boundary is.
Yeah, and that's and I know, like when they first get out of school, and that's what we going through. When they first get out of school, they stay up late, they just happy. So they wake up and if you might say, you got to clean your room. I know they'll say, I know before because they just in a happy. And I understood that because, but mom, like if you say, I know, you cutting her off.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You get what I'm saying? And I know you the clown. So even before I whip them, I explain to them why they're getting a whipping. Because that's the way my parents brought me up. Okay, I'm doing this because you took the car without our permission. I had a doctor's appointment, and all you had to do was ask. So give me the keys and take your clothes off. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna whoop your ass. You get what I'm saying? But they explained it in case I act like I forgot. You know what I'm saying? So they tell me why. Tell me why you getting your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? So I do that with mine. I explain where you went in your mama room and you got the VR when she told you not to touch it. So give me the VR and I'm finna whoop your ass.
Right.
And so and they seem like they accept that ass whooping a little bit better with me explaining to them why they getting it.
This is accomplishment for your actions. Period.
Yeah. And so that's when I asked the question about the discipline, because I'm gonna discipline mine. I'm gonna take things, and and sometimes, like when I was growing up, I didn't get a lot per se, but when I did get my ass whipped, I got whipped. You get what I'm saying? I'm talking about switches twisted together, take the clothes off, lay in front of the sofa while she's sitting there whooping you with a damn belt switch. And so I got whipped. I never did the extension cord thing.
Right.
But hell, my mom swings so good with that doggone belt, we didn't need no extension cord. And that switch. And you be out there trying to pick them skinny switches. And then she'll go out there and go and get one out of a big old tree. And she'll twist them herself, boy. You knew it was while you sitting there waiting, your heart thumping, because she's gonna come back with a big, long, thick one.
Yes,
and when she get through, you see them leaves all on the floor. So you know what I'm talking about.
She stripped the leaves off?
She'll get some of them, but she be so anxious to get to that butt. She'll slide some of them up and you'll see them leaves. But so yeah, we don't do it often, but every now and then when they getting too out of hand, we have to kind of put them back in their place a little bit.
Remind them.
Yeah. Shake back, but like Mama used to say, shake your memory tree.
Well, I like that. Shake your memory tree.
Yeah. So the discipline the children when you are a step parent, I feel like that makes them respect you. And I feel like the mother or the father, because right now we are seeing more single dads raising children now than ever before.
And like I said, I don't feel like the step parent, even if the mother is like, hey, I do want you to discipline them. I do want you to, take the things away. But again, that should be a discussion beforehand. Like, okay, this is going to be our style. Let's just, morph that. And if because like with me, I love natural consequences and stuff. But like when there's a situation where I need to take a phone or whatever, I mean, I really love more going into the system and cutting the phone off and changing the Wi-Fi code. It's so much better. Take the phone for it, watch it die while they. But
we do a lot of that now.
Even if it's a removal of the thing and all that, I mean, the step parent should be able to do that. I don't believe a step parent should be putting their hands on another child. I don't believe that. But again, I don't really believe in corporal punishment.
Right.
I've only whipped my kids maybe twice in their lives. Maybe, I don't know.
And I don't think that it's the discipline that actually gains the respect of the child. I think it's the overall treatment that gains the respect of the child.
It depends on that child, I feel like, because like Chanel said, if I'm gonna get all the ballerina shoes and all the trips and everything I want, the video screens, the iPhone, and I don't have to respect him, the child gonna get away with that.
So that's what I'm saying. You have to have a balance.
And you treating that kid perfect with a great relationship, but they don't respect you because a lot of times the mother, I think a lot of that, especially when it's a mother or the father, whenever the biological parent controls the respect, it's not really how you treat that child. That too, how you treat them, but that treatment got to come from the biological parent telling that child and backing up that you are someone to respect, that you are someone to obey. Because it can come to that point where you can't tell me nothing. You not my mama. And I used to hear that all the time. You not my daddy and you not my mama. That comes from the biologicals not laying that foundation down to the position that step is playing in that household and in that child's life. When that child say you not my mama, you not my daddy, that biological needs to check that and stop that, shut that down as soon as that come out that mouth. And it should be some type of discipline or punishment that comes behind that, and it should say that should never come out your mouth again. But the parents are not doing that. They'll hear that child say that and they'll just sit there and look a lot of times.
Well,
They just look.
sometimes that particular parent don't respect that other person anyway. But
I was just about to say that.
That's where issues form. So if the person respects the person that they're with, then they would demand respect from that child to that person.
And that's why I said a lot of the parents are not laying that down from the door, from the get-go. When they decide to introduce that child to that step parent, that's when all of that, this is like we said earlier, this is who I'm gonna be seeing. They're gonna be here. He's gonna be around this house, or she's gonna be around this house. You're gonna respect her. You have to lay that out and you have to enforce it, especially in the children today. And when the parents don't do that, that's why we hear them saying, "You not my daddy." You know what I'm saying? And I ain't never heard no child I ever been involved with say that.
And there's a difference between natural respect and forced respect.
That's true. Because forced respect is just fear.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. That's what our elders went on.
It's a big difference in forced respect and natural respect. But on the same note, if I know I can't curse in front of my mom, I'm not gonna curse because I know she's gonna whip my ass. So whether it's forced respect or natural respect, the key word is respect.
No, because
when
forced respect can cause damage. A forced respect can cause a kid to act out.
Right.
No, I'm saying from the standpoint.
That means I feel unsafe.
Right.
I know when I was coming up, when I was coming up in my great grandparents' house and grandparents' house, there was no damn democracy. It was a dictatorship.
Thank you.
That's what it was. Kids had to be kids. You couldn't speak out of turn. You couldn't dare walk up on adults and speak when they were speaking. You couldn't walk between two adults when they were talking.
Right.
Or there's consequences.
And it's kind of like teaching them the way
those are behaviors those are behaviors that are checked because they are social skills, right?
Right.
I'm not going to walk as an adult. I'm not going to walk between two people. So those are things that you're teaching them.
But a lot of them don't these days.
You're like, okay, you don't have an opinion because I'm grown and you not. That's different. That's a different thing because children do have opinions. They do. No, they shouldn't rule your house, but they have a right to say them.
Just like I told you, just like I said on the podcast,
and not express themselves and just take shit off of people. Because I've been taught if somebody's in authority, I just got to take shit off of them.
And that's why
that creates a lot of anxiety. That creates some social issues and concerns.
And maybe that's why. Remember, I told y'all on the podcast. My parents, we had what was called family conferences. On Saturday mornings, we all sit around and they lay their rules and we voice our opinion on how we feel about it. And then we would meet if we were in disagreements. We met in the middle and made things work.
Right.
But you still have to teach a child that there's a time
and a place.
It's a time, like on a job, you may hate your boss.
Right.
But you're not gonna go up there and tell the boss to kiss your ass because you need that job, whether you like them or not.
If I got another job, I will.
So what? If you what?
So if I got another job,
right. But naturally, you're not just gonna go and tell that person to kiss your ass. And so I feel like you lay that foundation down and you let them know this is how it's gonna be ran.
Right.
And you have to teach that respect. You have to teach it. You have to let them know, because I've seen too many households being ran where, like Austin said, the mother really don't respect the father figure in the household, whether it's she make more money or he got caught cheating or she's seeing somebody else, whatever it is.
No, she just
that what he said.
Don't
like him.
Yeah,
hey, I didn't know it was 11:45. It's been real, y'all. I got a full client load in the morning. My schedule is booked all day from start to finish.
We about to sail the ship. But
okay.
Appreciate you for coming out, man. Next week it's gonna be up, so we know what we got going. So holla back. Appreciate it.
Already.
Peace.
Yep. Peace.
But yeah, you have to lay that foundation down, especially when you're dealing with step parents, because if I don't show her respect, I can't expect my son to show her respect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I ain't saying force it, but on the same note, you need to say, well, hey, you don't talk to her like that. Right. You don't talk to him like that. If that man asks you to get up and wash dishes as much as he do for you, get up and wash the dishes. You know, he shouldn't have to call you 2 and 3 times to do anything. You need to get up there and do it. But and once that child see you laying those rules down like that and you showing that respect, that'll make that child be like, you know, especially today when there's no respect. You get what I'm saying?
So what you're explaining is enforcing.
Yeah,
So you're explaining enforcing.
Right. So it's not forcing the child to be, but the enforcement and reinforcing, like with the parent, you know, and that makes sense, right? And even in situations like that, I'm always bring it to the mental health part, is that we also have to consider that the child does have feelings, right? And if it's not a parental thing, if it's not a situation like we've been talking about, and a child is being defiant or whatever, you know, there may be some resistance to that person being in the house. Are you replacing my dad? So there's all those feelings that might be happening as to why they're not listening to that person, or like, you're not my dad. So that's something that needs to be said. You know, talk to the kid, like, you know, well, how you feeling about this situation? You know, why are you so?
That's your group. That's your group conference. You know, you have to come together and let everybody express how they feel. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's not. I mean, but you have to try that, because, like you say, everybody's feelings are involved in this, and so you know. And I just thank God that I've been blessed not to have to go through any of that. But I see it so much when I'm sitting over different people's house, and I'm like, did she just say what I thought she said? He just said. Even when I'm looking at, I was watching House of Pain actually last night, and it was an episode where the boy, what's the guy that was on Jason Lyric? What his name?
I forget his name.
Alan Payne.
Yeah.
Okay. The boy who played his son was angry because going through the mental thing, like y'all were saying, because his mom was on drugs, you know, and the kids teasing him at school, and he was having a crisis. So he was talking to Alan, his dad, you know, real disrespect. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, when is Alan gonna just jump up and grab this dude? But he listened to him, then the boy started crying, you know, at the end. But the boy was acting like he wanted to fight him. And I was like, that was a, you know, and when you have children, a lot of times
you want to kick his ass because he want to fight you, but he's just angry because his mama on crack. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so it got deeper. So I was like, when you have children and yours are growing up to be those ages that you're seeing on TV, And you sitting there looking like, if he would have said that to me, I would have. But then you see the outcome of what they show you on the television. You say, well, hey, so lately I've been learning to listen more than discipline.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying?
I like that.
So
But
I've been learning to do that.
Those feelings that these kids have now are not new feelings. We had those feelings growing up. Like we had feelings, but we just wasn't allowed to express them. And if we so tried, we got the shit smacked out of us, right? And so we learned that our feelings didn't matter. We learned to shut them down, and then we enter into the relationship. And I can't tell my husband about a thing, even though violated when he did XYZ, right? Because my mama taught me not to, because every time I open my mouth, I got smacked in it, right? And stuff. So we should be raising kids who we teach them how to express those feelings appropriately, give them the room to feel them, give them the room to cry, support them, and raise healthier children. And I promise they won't act out as much. I promise you they won't.
You have to address their mental and emotional needs in order to produce a healthy adult.
But with that being said, that was a good closing point. With that being said, we're finna sail this ship. Ship finna leave the dock. But this was the season 2, and I appreciate everybody who came on. We had technical difficulties in the beginning, Chanel. We were trying to figure out where the echo was coming from, and then my nerdy tail kept hitting and messing around. I found out. I said, let me just try this. I say, all us been muting and going off, starting over, but Austin. I say, so let me just hit his mute. I hit his mute and everything went, we were talking normal. I was like, man, I wish I would have had him to go off early. And he asked, did he need to go off? I'm talking about when we were like 15 minutes into it. He said, you want me to try to come back on? I said, no, you sound good. But he was the reason me and Melvin TV was echoing. But we got it now. Next week's topic is going to be pretty hot. It's going to be a good little topic. And we're going to promote it and get it out there. But season 2, man, we got a lot of exciting things coming up, different things we're going to try. So just tune in and check it out. And until next week, we about to, like I say, dock this boat. Ship. Yeah, we about to dock the ship. So, oh man, that dude just got off, y'all. I knew he was gonna get off. YN Nelly, the guy with the double murder. I think he just beat that case. They declared it a mistrial, I think. So he got off for killing his 2 friends.
Well, it depends on if it's a mistrial with prejudice or without prejudice.
What you mean?
So, which means that they can bring him back to trial.
Back to trial? Okay.
But I'm thinking it's because they didn't have enough evidence. Because they couldn't. I told you they couldn't find the murder weapon. So, and it just popped up on my screen, breaking news. I think I read that it got declared a mistrial. So we'll see, and we'll probably talk about that in the news next week. But with that being said, we docking the ship, and we out of here till next week, man. Appreciate everybody. Season 2, speak on it. Check us out. We out.
Peace.
Peace.